In today's video, I want to look at our book review. In today's book review, we're going to look at the biography of Donovan Bailey. Now, Donovan Bailey is one of the greatest athletes ever to grace track and field. He's one of my favorite athletes of all time. Now, this is a must-read book. If you are a track fan, if you are an immigrant to Canada, if you are a minority, if you are someone who is interested in starting a business or you have a business mind or mentality, if you are someone with values, then this is the book for you. I read this book and I just could not put it down. Donovan Bailey, he spoke about his life. He spoke about his early upbringing, which, as you know, he hailed from Jamaica. He spoke about being an immigrant in Canada. He spoke about being an athlete and what it was like to have to go through Athletic Canada Association and how he was sideball. And we know politics is in everything, right? Not just Canada, whether you're in Jamaica, the United States, but he spoke about the whole thing about just being a minority in Canada. Like, one of the things that is ignored by many persons, in higher society or persons who make policies, is that there isn't racism in Canada. There is very much racism in Canada. Maybe not as blatant as it is in the States, and it really gets to me when there are others who clearly, they're not a minority, they don't have this problem, they make it seem as if something is wrong with you. So I'm really happy that Donovan touched on this, because this is not only the problem as an athlete, this is a problem overall. And it's not everyone, but there are others who would like to think, oh, we don't go through that in Canada. We are not like that. It's very much here, and it's under the carpet. It's racism with a smile, as someone said. And it was very fascinating to me, because though I know that this is an issue, I wouldn't have thought that something like this would be happening in, Canadian athletics, at least not track and field. I definitely know of persons who have gone through, like, hockey, and they have had really a hard time being a minority. But this was a good book. And so I am going to highly recommend this book. I give this book 10 out of 10. He spoke about Muhammad Ali being his, idol, which is also my idol. I love Ali, definitely. And I watched all his fights. I also think that, he was a very intelligent man, and he was very eloquent. And I like that about him. I like how he handled the press. And Donovan spoke about that, He spoke about his highs, he spoke about his lows, he spoke about his family and how supported they were. And so I just really enjoyed this book. I read this book off like in 2 days. Once I started it, I could not put it down. And, I like the fact too, the fact that even though he was an athlete, he spoke about how business oriented he was. He reminds me actually of Usain Bolt, because not many athletes get it. They don't realize that, their career as an athlete is not finite. So you have to make the most of it. But I highly recommend this book, to youngsters, not just someone who wants to go into track, but I think that it was a very motivational book, and I enjoyed it immensely, and definitely, Donovan, you have always inspired me, but reading this book, it was even more inspirational. So you are undisputed, and you'll always be one of my favorite athletes.